complained that all our activities are usually done in the HR. Welcome those who are new. We will show our people that we are all in Nova Scotia together. We are not just in Halifax. And then whatever we can, gain in terms of connection, in terms of understanding the things how things work here, in terms of.
So when you first come in, you're excited to come in, and then as you said, you're disconnected from your family, from community. So loneliness usually, sometimes, at least for me, it kicks in, and it can also lead to depression. Because when you're lonely and you don't have either fellow Nigerians who share the same values, who share the same cultures with you to connect with, you can get depressed. And when you're depressed, most times most people don't even know what to tell, who to talk to. Because when you don't call people back and say they're depressed, you've moved to a new country, you're supposed to be happy and excited. So they end up not getting the support.
And that's why this organization, Association of Nigerians in Nova Scotia, is very important. It's very, very important. So thank you very much for coming to Truro now. I've been here for a year and a half. I'm just going to leave that on the side. All right, so pass the microphone on. Any other reason why? So social isolation, not having a network to connect to, whether it's other Nigerians, whether it's church, those kind of things can lead to loneliness and depression.
So weather is another thing to talk about.
So
God bless you.
A lot of people may tend to think of things to get out of that. They start drinking, forming addiction issues, and that also exacerbates some other mental health you could have. Maybe being addicted to cannabis.
access.
There's
an access to cannabis.
It's everywhere. So that could also affect you. And also we in child protection, a lot of families, not being able to meet their financial needs, husband,
finances is a big
all that. So everything just accumulate to having, causing problem for the entire family.
No, finances are very difficult. So we have social isolation, we have finances, we have access to illicit drugs. Well, it's interesting. I used to practice in England, and in England, cannabis is illicit, but in Canada, they say that illicit drugs here are speed, cocaine, and things like that. So it's even for me, it's new learning. Okay. So any other thing that we think could contribute? I have a long list here. I have a whole page of things that could contribute.
Continue.
Okay. Number two, I mentioned the very first one for me was weather. Like I had a baptism of fire when I stepped out at Halifax International Airport on the 5th of September 2023 at about 12:02 a.m. So that's to tell you how.
2 months after you.
Okay, so that's to tell you how much that baptism of fire was for me. And then the second one was Gibbs talked about it, loneliness. The truth is you don't even know how lonely you would be and what loneliness means until you experience it. Back in Nigeria, if there's one thing I love most is being in my circle. Like it's so crazy that whenever I got to work from home, I might be in my house for when I was staying in my family house, I have a room, a quarter in my family's house. I might be there for 5 days and nobody knows if I was at home or not. That's how I enjoyed my space. But when I came to
when you have all the time to yourself.
Now, when I had all the time to myself, I was kind of looking for, so that's how crazy loneliness could be. You really need to be tough. No matter how tough you are mentally, loneliness is going to break you. I remember one evening, the family that was hosting, I was staying with, very lovely family, Nigerians, and I walked up to the man of the house. I'm like, boss, I'm tired, I'm going back to Nigeria. I broke down completely. I used to think I was very strong until that day. And he was like, don't worry. He just started laughing at me. This kind of laugh while he was trying to be very empathetic, he was just like, I understand. I know that this time will come. You just came in, don't be too hard on yourself. Prioritize. And and that is why I can relate with what you talked about, where you have community, Nigerians, and where ANNS it's time to, they will see us and come around, but basically that's that. Thank you.
Any other thing?
Another thing
is real. I mean, from loneliness to depression, I could remember vividly, I think around June last year, I was crying, feeling lonely. I called my husband, talking to my husband, I said, I'm tired, babe, I'm tired. I want to. He said, okay. Yesterday I called you, you were crying. Today again, you were crying. What do you want to do? I said, I'm just tired. I'm missing you, I'm missing my kids. I'm like, I thought maybe within a few months of me coming to Canada, you guys will join me. I've never lived my family for a whole year without seeing them aside video call. I'm like, wow, I'm just tired. Okay. He said, when you were crying yesterday, I wanted to say something to you. Because you were crying seriously, I couldn't control it on the phone. Then I said, there's space now. I said, you are crying again. If you cry, I won't say it. I said, okay, I won't cry. Don't say it. I was shaking. My voice was shaking while I was talking to him. He said, okay, say it. I just said, I have just two things to tell you. Number one is, can you endure? I want to believe it's for a short period of time, though I can't predict, but I can only say for a short period of time, or you come back home. When I just changed my face. Okay, should I say I'm going back or should I stay?
No, we didn't get them.
My husband don't mind anyway in the first place because he doesn't want me crying all the time. He spoke with me a day before I was crying, 2 days before I was crying, 3 days before. So you cry every day. Why? Do you want to kill yourself? I said, no, I'm just tired. I don't remember the other one. Come back home. I said, if I should come back home, my kids will never forgive me. Like, it's not possible. I'm very sure they won't forgive me. I said, can you endure? I said, okay, I'm picking the first one. I will endure.
We want to make sure that when you take your medication, you go home. We want to make sure that what you are taking home is safe for you, all right, and it's going to work for you. So those are the two key things. Then let me walk you through when you take a script from a doctor here to a pharmacy in Canada here or in Nova Scotia, in Truro here, experience. When you enter the pharmacy, there are two areas. There's a self-care area and there's a prescription-only area. So the self-care area has medications like Tylenol, ibuprofen, creams, Plan B, emergency contraceptive, things like that are deemed safe enough for you to be there, and that the regulator believes that you have enough knowledge to be able to use it on your own without harming yourself. So that is why it is there for you to just make a choice on your own without any intervention or any support from any pharmacist. So that's that. But at times, you may also need to actually seek an opinion of the pharmacist to actually take some medications in the self-care area. So now, the prescription-only area. When you get a script from the doctor and you walk into the pharmacy, there are two things. One is either that you already exist in the database of the pharmacy, or you are not there at all, or you are new. So when you are new, you need to remember you need to go with your
Identify yourself.
Then your, what's it called? The Nova Scotia card.
The card.
Thank you. MSI card. Your drug plan insurance card.
Yes.
And your general ID, And because medications are very expensive here.
Very good.
You need to take all those things with you. Then what will happen is that there's a way, once you identify yourself, so far you are here legally, we can be able to pull you from the central data system and get you to the system of pharmacy. Then we double check whether those information are correct. Once it's complete, and we check and we are sure that it's complete, then we save it for you and you have a profile with the pharmacy. So you need to identify a pharmacy of your choice where you want to be picking up your medication. It's actually important, and you have a relationship with them. All right? It makes it easier, and it makes it that is just easier and safer for you. so that things don't get mixed up. And when you need something urgently, they can actually always prioritize you ahead of them. So now, when they set you up in the system, all right, that is when your drug plan comes into play. They set it up for you, they do all those things and put it in your profile and everything. And how many of us do we do? I think we all have drug plans, right? I mean insurance, medication insurance.
It expired. I do, but it expired.
Yeah, we medication. Yeah.
When I was just
Medication insurance.
insurance. No.
I mean for your medicines. You don't get
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
Some are registered.
So I just wanted to talk more about people being involved with child protection. We have about 3 social workers here who will agree with me that there's a notion that social workers take people's children. You know, that is true. But social workers will only take their children when they are on imminent risk of abuse. So just like the initial doctor said, most immigrants, you know, in those days when I started, you know, assisting Nigerians, when you ask them, why did you come to Canada? Why did you come to Nova Scotia? They will tell you, I came because of my children, I came for a greener pasture. But now, when they come in, you know, they neglect that family that they came from. You know, a lot of people work to the extent that they are not even able to take care of their mental health. The doctor talked about extreme case of mental health. Extreme case of mental health is that it affects the entire family. It makes you to the extent that you started being an abusive husband. You started neglecting your children. A lot of Nigerian children, a lot of Nigerian families are involved with child protection. I have been involved with a lot of Nigerian families to the extent that I was threatened. A Nigerian threatened me, but I was just doing my job. So the information you are sharing now is how people can get access to multiple services. As a Nigerian, there's a lot of Nigerian social workers who you can also call and contact and ask questions. The doctor talked about depression. December, I had a client who harmed herself, but not in Nigeria, because of unusual mental health. This client harmed herself because they were having issues with financial issues with the husband, and which was unresolved, and she had bipolar, which is untreated. So she just went in and harmed herself. Now the last one is a lot of Nigerians. The question they usually ask me is, what is the right age to leave a child unsupervised? In Nova Scotia, there is no legislation, there is no specific age of leaving a child unsupervised at home. A lot of Nigerian families, they want to work, and abandon their child. You know, so any child less than 10 years shouldn't be left unsupervised at home. If the child is between 10 to 12, you can leave them for certain time. Certain time is probably when they come back from school, you can allow them certain hours before parents come home. But from 13 years and above, they can be left at home. But the services I will recommend people to do is babysitter's training. The Red Cross, they have a babysitter's training that children who are 13 years and above, they can learn. And also another factor to consider is an environment. You know, a child that is 13 years old who is mentally well, and a child that is 17 years old who is autistic, they are not the same mental work. So you have, as a parent, you have to consider safety. You have to teach them some safety tips. Safety tips about how to call 911 in the event of any issue, how to probably call parents. You know. Then another issue is sister, like working with you. That's what I want to tell you. Your family will be joining you soon by God's grace.
Ethnic minority families, black families.
Not necessarily. I will tell you guys, the worst people, like what Chidi was saying, whoever you think is your best friend is really the one you should be fearful of in this culture. So the schools are the ones that give us the most reports, almost every day, schools, daycares, everywhere. So people you think is your best friend, like in Africa, you could tell your best friend everything. Because that best friend you're telling everything, that best friend will be the one to betray you because will tell everybody what you're doing. Say for example, like the example she gave, if you're working so much and you tell your best friend, you show up, you say, oh, you have a child. So how is the child doing? Oh, it's home with who? Then now you're stuck because who have the right to report you? So I tell people, when I go to people, don't tell me anything. Because if you tell me, I'm bound to report you. Because sometimes you build this relationship with the client and they really want to share and they will say out of record. There's nothing out of record in social work. And the sad thing is, when you say something, you're not going to be there, what I write, what I record. You don't have that privilege to read it.
For you, you know, and your A1C is not going to reverse by scabashing, you know. You probably will need to do some things that would help you. I mean, that would help you. So, I mean, I want to implore us and, you know, hope that we can try to take our health generally more seriously. And I'm not saying this because I'm better at anybody in here. You know, they say that healthcare workers are the worst. Like, you just so you know. And healthcare worker from Nigerian kind of region has the same mentality. It's something that is in our subconscious that is very hard to dissociate from. So sometimes, no matter how educated you are, you may not really do all of those necessary stuff. So that's why I'm talking about it, that, you know, there is primary care, and primary care involves like a few things. So let's start with screening, okay? You know, if you are over, as a woman over the age of 25, you know, there's a screening called PAP test. You know, that's probably one of the ways that you can catch, one of the few cancers that you can actually catch at an extremely early stage, you know, because oftentimes, like a lot of cancers, you will never really be able to catch them, you know. And as we get older, some people will have them and we can't control who will or who won't. So basically, if you're a woman over the age of 25 and you're sexually active, you should be talking about pap tests. You should talk to a doctor. So don't leave it like here without calling a doctor and saying, oh, I haven't had my pap in 5 years and I'm 30. Do you get? So speak with a doctor, get it done. Do you get it over with? Make sure that everything is good and is fine. Do you get? So get it done. Basically, also, if you're a woman here and you're over the age of 40, you can choose to have mammogram. Mammogram is a special X-ray for the breast that can help to detect breast cancer. Of course, it's very essential that you are self-breast aware. You know, as a woman, that you are self-breast aware, because the mammogram, unlike the pap test, is not really like that extremely, you know, like good, and you will just put all your hope in the test. So besides doing the test, you also want to make sure that you are self-breast aware. You know, if you feel like something is wrong or something has changed, or something is a little different, just call us. You know, call us. Even if you had your mammogram 3 months ago, right? You had your mammogram 3 months ago and they said it's perfect, you're fine, come back in 2 years. If it looks like something is now different, call. You get to talk to us. As a woman and a man now, over the age of 50, right? There is something called colon cancer. Colon cancer is the cancer of the bowel. Of course, bowel is inside your stomach, right? You know, the intestine. I know as Nigerians, we like to eat tino eran. I know we call it, in Yoruba, we like it. So that tino eran can also have cancer. And actually is quite common. It's one of the leading causes of death in Canada. I believe in Nigeria as well. So we do have this screening in Nova Scotia where once you turn 50, we send a kit to your house so that I call it a poop test. And of course, I mean, we all pay taxes, we all do different things for the government. And one of my friends made this joke that I now tell people that it's the only time we get to send poop back to the government you know, because you get to take it from so you know what I mean, you get to send it back to the government. So anyway, you're sending it to us, to the healthcare people anyway, you know, that's just a joke. So at 50 you have to send it, because then that helps us to see whether you have something that looks close to, like, basically like blood in your poop. And if you do, then it means that we need to look at that, your tinu, like look at that, your intestine, and make sure that there's nothing wrong there. And that's actually how sometimes we pick people who have early cancer. Sometimes, unfortunately, we may pick people who have something a little bit advanced. But usually, if you do that test, you know, Dr. Damola talked about reducing risk, right? Everything we do, exercising, praying, eating well, you know, trying to be happy, this guy, all we're trying to do is reduce our risk for depression, reduce our risk for, you know, like different type of health diseases. So when you do that, you're reducing your risk of colon cancer. Or even if you are one of the unlucky person that will have a polyp. A polyp is the beginning of the cancer or cancer. It may be caught early that they will quickly cut it away, and then you are lucky again. So we want to make sure that we do that if you are over the age of 50. If you're over the age of 50 and you haven't gotten that kit in your house, please go online, just put colon cancer screening. You will see Nova Scotia and you see everything there. Find their number, call them so that you get it done ASAP. Okay?
So the program is so extensive. They have anger management. So even things as little as anger management, because some people have anger issues and they have noted them, but they don't know how to go about it because people are afraid of therapy. Like blacks, why should I go to therapy? What does the therapist want to tell me that my pastor cannot tell me? Like, or that I cannot tell myself. So they just say breathe in and out, count 1 to 5, all those relaxation techniques today work. So sometimes it's not that we don't know that there is therapy for us. It is we don't even embrace the therapy to begin with. Like we don't say, oh, I know I have a problem and I know there's a solution, but I refuse the help. So sometimes that's our problem as people of color. So it's not just letting us know, it's also that we follow up and don't just take all the information and wash it down with the jollof rice and drink, and it ends there. So they also have barbershop talks, and they are supposed to do one Monday, July 29th. So it will be go get your haircut, and they will have a talk, right? It's just things to make it more catchy so that people turn up. So it is not too formal and like corporate. Even time with a lawyer. So some people have settlement issues, they need help, right? And everybody knows why in Nova Scotia, why in Canada, things are expensive. So even sometimes having a lawyer like advise you, you just hear, oh, that was $150 for that 1 hour consult. And you're like, wait. That was just the introduction. I still need more consults. So will I always have to come up with this $150 per hour, right? So at least you can get that initial talk with a lawyer. If you have issues, sometimes you need to discuss with somebody that you feel like has more expertise. Not that you cannot research it on your own, but sometimes you just need that extra support, right? So they help with a lot of things. So I think we should all try to embrace this new program since it's specifically for blacks.
What did you call it?
And men. So Nova Scotia Brotherhood Initiative for men.
Okay.
Nova Scotia Sisterhood Initiative for women.
Okay.